Anglo-American legal systems have been discussed by virtually every American president, including, by the way, Barack Obama, who not all that long ago talked about our Anglo-American legal heritage. Weird. It must be a racist, that Barack Obama. Again, the narrative when it comes to January 6th, that it was part of a broader American movement. Where's the broader American movement? Where is it? Where's the broader American movement that seeks to overthrow America's institutions, completely rewrite them, destroy them from the inside, get rid of rights in the Constitution of the United States, get rid of the notion of individual rights? Where is that? Seriously, where's the broad movement? What I see was some nuts. Because statistically speaking, that's what we were watching. Okay, it was like several hundred people. But what I'm watching on the other side is institutions that have been completely collapsing from the inside in favor of a mentality that says that America's basic notion of itself is not only wrong and unjustified, but needs to be torn asunder. Okay, which is why you have people like LZ Granderson appearing on ABC's This Week saying that America continues to be white supremacist.
In terms of Marjorie Greene and that particular caucus, in denouncing her, many Republicans talked about how America wasn't built on these ideas. The reality is this country was built on white supremacy. And the reason why she supported is because white supremacy is still very much a part of the American fabric. So until we can acknowledge that, we're going to constantly address these racial issues, particularly as it pertains to immigration.
We're going to have to end there, but you made your point.
And Martha Raddatz, everybody here is nodding along. It's very important that everybody nod along to all of this nonsense. Because if you don't nod along, this means that you're not woke. It means that you don't understand America's horrific history with race. It means that you're not part of the movement if you don't nod along to this sort of stuff. By the way, what LZ Granderson is referring to there is the fact that some of the more right-wing members of the Republican caucus, including fringe members like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who have posited that they wanted to create an America First caucus. That America First caucus was supposed to work toward an infrastructure that reflects the architectural, engineering, and aesthetic value that befits the progeny of European architecture, right? Basically, people saying they don't want brutalist architecture. They want to see, things that look like classical Roman architecture, sort of the architecture that has traditionally characterized Washington, D.C. Also, the 7-page document outlining the vision of the proposed America First caucus mentioned the term Anglo-Saxon. They talked about Anglo-Saxon heritage. Okay, and this was treated, of course, as evidence of deep, abiding American racism. Because how dare you mention Anglo-Saxon heritage? I have a piece of awkward news for folks. When it comes to the law and our systems, those are of Anglo-Saxon extraction. They just are. Anglo-American legal systems have been discussed by virtually every American president, including, by the way, Barack Obama, who not all that long ago was talking about the importance of habeas corpus on the floor of the Senate and talked about our Anglo-American legal heritage. Weird, because it must be a racist, that Barack Obama.
The world is watching what we do here today in America. They will know what we do here today, and they'll treat all of us accordingly in the future. Our soldiers, our diplomats, our journalists, anyone who travels beyond these borders. I hope we remember this as we go forward. I sincerely hope that we can protect what's been called the Great Writ, a writ that's been in place in the Anglo-American legal system for over 700 years.
By the way, you can see how all of this has shifted over the course of time for the Democrats, how terms that are not racist are now being treated as racist. If you believe that Anglo-Saxon heritage is somehow a rip on people who are not of Anglo-Saxon extraction, I'm Jewish, okay? I have no dog in this Anglo-Saxon heritage routine. Right? I'm of Jewish extraction. So I, like Antonin Scalia, am not somebody who feels that particular ethnic description fits me. But here's Antonin Scalia, an Italian, talking about how Anglo-Saxon heritage has shaped the United States. This is not a matter of historical conjecture. This is a matter of historical fact. Here, you can call it racist as much as you want, but the simple fact is that there are many good things about our Anglo-Saxon heritage. As a culture, those are good. Nobody is saying that everybody in America needs to be Anglo-Saxon. I'd be out. Right? So it's Scalia. So probably half the country. Here's Antonin Scalia making exactly this point just a few years back in 2006.
The French-Swiss professors I had would refer constantly to les pays anglo-saxons, the Anglo-Saxon countries, meaning England, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, okay, Canada. And I said, hey, my name is Scalia. And I'm as American as anybody. Look at this face. Is this an Anglo-Saxon face? I had never been in England, but at the end of my year, I went to England, and I felt at home. There is no doubt that American culture, American common culture, which nobody has to belong to, originates with English culture.
Okay, why is that even remotely controversial? It's controversial because anything is evidence that the true threat to America is this intense white supremacy that continues to govern our lives, despite the fact that it's pretty incredible that in a white supremacist country, a thoroughgoing white supremacist country, you can expect that every 5 minutes or so there's going to be a riot, looting justified by the media, and then tutted by Democrats, while saying that the rioters and looters have the justification of good on their side. And of course, all of this ties in that broader American narrative that is being pushed by the left is about tearing away at the civil institutions of the society. It's about tearing away any commonality we have between ourselves, separate from racial tribalism. It's about making the country a worse place on the basis of the argument that America is already a terrible place. And it's not true. America is not a terrible place. It is not a terrible place for black people. It is not a terrible place for white people. It is not a terrible place for green people. It is, in fact, the best country on earth to live if you're a black person. Name another country you would rather live if you're black. Seriously, I don't know. I don't know another country where I'd rather live as a Jew. It's an amazing, amazing country. Why the intense push by the left to rewrite the American bargain on the back of lies about what America is, and then to wink and nod at people who are engaging in acts of vandalism, looting, rioting, burning, arson, attacks on police officers, and to treat that as not some form of larger insurrectionist attempt to overthrow these institutions in the soft, non-legal sense. I don't know what you're watching. I don't know what you're watching. You have a right as an American to expect that the systems of power in the United States, the systems of government under the Constitution that are constrained by the Constitution and the Declaration, are not overthrown by people who wish to see them die. But I'll say that right is certainly being infringed. Who's got two thumbs and wants you to like and subscribe?